Good afternoon, everyone. Well, thanks for joining us today for this webinar. You're in YuJa 101, introducing YuJa, the all-in-one video platform. We'll get a sense of in a couple minutes here of faculty who might be brand new to YuJa or what your experience level with YuJa might be. And just to let you know as well, there's another webinar that we are doing this Thursday. We'll continue to run these into the fall that is advanced YuJa. So any topics that we that sort of go beyond what we cover here today, that'll be covered in that webinar. I do, to be honest with you, I'm not sure off the top of my head if the enrollment for that one on Thursday is closed yet, but you can check that out on Go Sign Me Up. And if it is, just shoot me a quick message. I can always, add you into the webinar. It won't count for PD credit if it's not through Go Sign Me Up, but I can still add you to the Teams webinar just if you want to, check out the course content to get ready for fall. Okay, so hope everyone's having a great day. Let's go ahead and start off with a little bit of an introduction to what YuJa is and what we're going to cover today. Uh, and first off, let's go ahead and learn a little bit more about who's here with us. In the meeting chat in Microsoft Teams, if you could go ahead and just type in your name and your role at Wake Tech, and if you could go ahead and just put in there what you think your skill level with YuJa is, just in a word or two or three, that'd be great too. Um, just to get a feel for that, to kind of better accommodate what you all are hoping to get out of the webinar today. We'll go ahead and give everyone just a minute just to type those in. Okay, good. So yeah, it looks like it looks like everybody's in the right webinar. This is the exact right one if you have little to no experience with YuJa. Good, no experience. No experience with YuJa. Okay, great. Use YuJa to insert questions into existing videos but have low level of info on creating videos. Okay, good. Good, good. So yeah, we'll cover that today. We'll take an introductory look at YuJa, how to connect to it, how to insert videos, how to create videos, and also how to, then potentially use them within courses as well, as more sort of comprehensive student engagement activities. Very good, very good. Yeah, go ahead and keep the chat introductions coming. I'm going to go ahead and move forward with the slides, but go ahead and feel free to continue adding those introductions into the chat. So you might have noticed in the chat for this Microsoft Teams, there are two poll questions. Feel free to go ahead and answer those as well. I kind of warmed you up there with that question about YuJa. If you want to go ahead and enter your experience level with that, and then any questions or topics you'd like to have covered in this webinar or other training, that would be great as well. That just gives us a good sense of who's here, what they need, what else they might need, that kind of thing. All right, so what we're going to cover today, we're going to look at getting started with YuJa in Blackboard Ultra. That is one big difference that we're doing here with a lot of our training is that we are, we're of course crossing over to Blackboard Ultra. Some of the previous videos that you might find on our LSID YouTube channel, you'll find um, that they might be for kind of geared toward Blackboard Original. Um, Jermaine, it looks like your microphone might be unmuted. If you want to go ahead and mute that up, that would be fantastic. And then feel free if anybody has a question or anything. Thank you so much. And if anybody has a question during the webinar here, feel free to go ahead and drop it into the chat, or if you want to raise your hand, that's fine as well. We'll cover those depending on what they are. We'll cover those either during the training, or if they're a little bit more, the answers are a little bit more elaborate, we might save those till the end to the question and answer session. Okay, so like I said, getting started with YuJa in Blackboard Ultra, and then we'll look at the two main methods of accessing YuJa and how they're different. That's a lot of times what I find with folks that are new to YuJa is that's kind of where they get hung up at first is sort of the different methods of accessing YuJa, and they the two main methods are for two distinct. They're kind of set up for two distinct reasons. So we'll take a look at that. And then we'll look at adding and managing YuJa content in your Blackboard Ultra course. Just as a heads up, what we typically refer to as videos or content in YuJa is usually in YuJa referred to as media. So that's going to kind of be sort of the catch-all phrase in YuJa is media, media management, media creation, so on and so forth. But for the most part, that's just videos. And then we'll look at relinking videos from VidGrid or other sources. If you haven't done that yet, and if you had, VidGrid videos that were potentially ported over into YuJa, and maybe you haven't gotten around to doing that, or you have video in any other sources, perhaps downloaded files, and you're just trying to figure out how to get your videos from other sources into YuJa, we'll also take a look at that. And then, of course, covering any additional topics as time permits. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. For this, we're going to go ahead and switch over to a new browser tab. And what we're going to do first is just access YuJa and look at how we can do that. Uh, how we can do that through Blackboard Ultra. So what I need to do first, of course, is I need to sign in to Blackboard using my WakeTech key account. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we just click the login button. And then I'm going to click on my username and we'll log into Blackboard Ultra. First, I'll go to courses and then I'm going to choose a course to access YuJa through. In this case, I'm going to use my Ultra Dev Shell. And don't pay a lot of attention to the course content itself in this Ultra Shell. We use these for troubleshooting and work throughout the day. So try to order and organize this up as best as possible. But it's essentially modeled off of a typical course at Wake Tech. But there's some, especially as we scroll down, there's some sort of, there's content for all different sorts of purposes. Now, if I need to access YuJa in my Blackboard Ultra course, what I can do is I can go down here to the lower left under the Details and Actions section, and I can click on the View Course and Institution Tools link. And what that does is it opens up a panel on the right with all of my books, or not all of actually, but just a sort of a summary listing of my book and course tools available through the content market. What I'm going to do is scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see at the bottom a YuJa link. We'll go ahead and click that YuJa link. And if you haven't accessed YuJa before, that's what you'll want to do first to go ahead and essentially authenticate your WakeTech account with the YuJa platform so it initializes that YuJa account for you. Now, when we arrive in YuJa, and you can see with my account, for example, I've got a number of folders, a number of videos, and a number of areas where we can have content or media that's stored that we can, and these are essentially just a combination of recorded videos, shared videos, uploaded videos that we can place into a Blackboard Ultra course. Now, at this point, we've just accessed the YuJa platform. And a lot of times when folks are new to YuJa, we also find that one thing they ask about or they seem to sort of wonder about is, like what's the scope of what YuJa can do? Like what are all the options? What can I create with YuJa? Really at its simplest, YuJa is just a web hosting platform. It's just it's like similar to like a OneDrive account or a Google Drive account or any of a number of, SugarSync, Dropbox, those sort of tools. It's just a web platform that WakeTech licenses for hosting files. It just so happens, though, that YuJa is fine-tuned much more for hosting video files. So it's really the whole platform is designed for managing video files, video uploads, for building quizzes from videos, from working with videos. But like I said, at its simplest, you can think of YuJa as just a web host. Are there any kind of limits on file size or number of files? The simple answer is not really. We have a sort of an elastic file storage quota with YuJa. So we haven't seen anybody yet approximate even sort of that orange or red line territory where we'd have to look at managing any kind of limit or quota. So chances are you're going to be able to, record and upload a lot of video files to this. And, it's really going to be a long, long, long time until you hear anything about limitations. I mean, that said, if, you do want to keep an eye on your video file size, if there's several gigabytes a piece, maybe have, reach out to us, have one of us take a look at your files and see if maybe some alternatives are needed. Some maybe, some preparation needed to get those videos ready to bring it to YuJa. So again, like I said, YuJa is simply just a video hosting platform usable through your Blackboard Ultra courses. We've initialized it the first time by clicking on that YuJa link back in Blackboard. Now, we're going to take a little bit more of a look at what all of this does. We're not going to dive too deep on this in this webinar. Like I said, we'll take a look at more of this in our advanced YuJa webinar on Thursday, and that will be holding through the semester. So I'm going to go ahead and just click the X with a blue box on it here in the upper left corner, and that'll take me back to my Blackboard Ultra course. And again, just as a reminder, we got there from the lower left, going to Books and Tools, clicking on View Course and Institution Tools, and then scrolling down to the YuJa link. Now that's how we can access YuJa and get started with it. Now we're going to take a look at the two main methods of creating content and really integrating YuJa into your course. Like I said, two main methods. So one is the one that we essentially just covered. It's basically just accessing or providing access to YuJa. You may have noticed, in addition to the link here for YuJa, over at the left, there's a little plus button that you can hit. If you click that button, what's going to happen is a link to YuJa is going to be inserted into your course content. Now, if we just go to Books and Tools and we click that add link button, by default, that link should be added all the way at the end of our course content. And there you see it down at the bottom of the course content. By default, it's hidden from students. You can always make that visible to students so that either you or your students can access the YuJa media platform. But again, it's important to remember that is simply just accessing the user's YuJa media platform account and all of the videos and media that user might have created or uploaded to that account. So it's not necessarily what you want to click to create content. It's just what you want to click to manage content. So that's the first method. The second method is using the YuJa Media Chooser. And let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that. Now, the YuJa Media Chooser can be accessed almost anywhere in Blackboard Ultra where content can be added, text content and rich content can be added to an Ultra item. In other words, we can insert YuJa media into Blackboard Ultra documents. We can insert YuJa media into quizzes, into discussions, into assignments, anywhere where we're able to access the rich text editor and add content from the content market. So let's look at one or maybe a few ways of doing that here in this course. You see here an icebreaker discussion item right above my modules. I'll go ahead and click on the icebreaker discussion to take a look at that in Blackboard Ultra. Now, I'm guessing some of you might also be newer or somewhat new to Blackboard Ultra. So we provide other training and information on and courses on migrating to Blackboard Ultra. There's going to be some links at the end of this webinar, some resources that you can check out for help in, getting up to speed with how Ultra works. But in Ultra, a lot of the content that you put together typically has an editor page or a specific page set up for that content to edit the content for, to change the settings for, and that's what you're looking at right here with this icebreaker discussion. I can add content here at the left for the discussion, and then I can access the discussion settings over at the right. Now, like I said, the method we're looking at now for inserting a YuJa video is to use the YuJa Media Chooser. The YuJa Media Chooser is located in the content market. And as I also said, any item where you can access the rich text editor, you can add content from the content market in. So we're going to do that right now here on the left in the discussion topic. So we'll go ahead and click on the three dots to the upper right. We'll click Edit. And as you can see, the rich text editor appears. We can see the description and instructions for this discussion. And let's say that we needed to place, video instructions for this discussion. We can go ahead and just hit enter to drop it down a line. And then what I'm going to do, and this is where the rubber hits the road, I'm going to click the insert content button in the upper right corner. Then I'm going to move down here to Content Market, and we'll click Content Market. That's going to open up a wider version of the panel that we saw earlier that we could access under Books and Tools. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom once again, now you'll see a YuJa Media Chooser box. So we're going to go ahead and click YuJa Media Chooser to choose any kinds of media that are on our YuJa account. And also, if we need to go ahead and create media that we might want to insert into this discussion item. Or, like I said, quiz, assignment, assessment, so on and so forth. So you see here that I have a number of videos. These are listed under media. I can go ahead and explore with this YuJa Media Chooser three varieties of media content that may be stored in my YuJa account. As you see right here, media, but then I can also click on quizzes. I can go to video quizzes and add those. And then I can also add playlists that I may have created in my YuJa account. We're going to primarily today talk about media. We'll do a brief mention on video quizzes, but like I said, these other topics besides media we'll cover in the advanced webinar. So if I see that I don't have a video that is appropriate for the discussion instructions, then I can go ahead and create a video. We'll go ahead and do that. We'll do that right now. I'm just going to go up here to create recording in the upper right. Now, over here on the right, you can launch the recorder. You can also click download app. These two options basically just mean that you can record videos and create them from your recorder software in the browser, or you can download the software capture app that that YuJa provides for recording your videos standalone offline on your computer locally. I like to, I typically recommend to just use the browser recorder. The browser recorder and the software, downloadable software application are relatively close. There's really not a whole lot more that you can do with that downloadable software. And the nice thing about the browser recorder is there are just fewer steps. Instead of downloading software and potentially troubleshooting downloaded software on the user's machine, it all kind of is standardized going through the browser. So, you can try both, see what works better for you. But like I said, I typically recommend, at the very least, to get started with, just use the browser recorder. So again, to do that, we're going to go to this drop down, and I'm going to choose, instead of record from your Windows PC or Mac, I'm going to click on record with Browser Capture Studio. We're going to give this video a title. This is going to be discussion instructions. I might also, if I remember correctly, this was for an icebreaker discussion. So maybe, icebreaker discussion instructions. And then we'll click launch recorder. Now, when we click on this, what's going to happen is we open up a staging area where we can set the AV audio video settings. We can do any kind of screen sharing, and we can kind of get the recording ready, and then we can go ahead and start recording. Now, you might notice on this screen, you can see could not get camera stream. That is likely because I'm streaming right now through this recording for this webinar. I'll go ahead and just check though under the camera. Yeah, that's the only camera. I would have to turn the camera off in Microsoft Teams to go ahead and get it to show here. But if you get a message like that, that's where you would go to check first. You would just check that, check that camera button. I can actually, let's see if we can. Let me see if I can just turn off the camera for Teams and get it to pop up for, no, yeah, it's not working. Go ahead and turn that back on. So now I'm going to check some other options too. Oftentimes when faculty are recording videos, what I found is they typically, they're either recording some sort of like video or audio only instructions, welcome message, something like that. Or they're recording some type of presentation, demonstration, or lecture. In the first case, typically just having the camera on and making sure that you're getting audio levels is adequate. And then you can go ahead and click start recording. If you're going to be recording a presentation, you'll likely want to either choose screen or you want to choose both. So if I choose screen, I can then choose a specific window or screen to share in this presentation. And let's go ahead and you could do entire screen too, but typically with presentations, what I recommend instructors do is that they open up a window first, maybe even like in a browser like I'm doing here, and have the presentation ready so that they can then choose it from the available windows. So let's see if there's a course offerings web browser window. I'll go ahead and share that here in the YuJa video. Let's just assume that those would be, discussion instructions. And then if I click both, what will happen is the webcam and the screen being shared will be recorded into the YuJa video. So once I'm happy with the settings there in the Browser Capture Studio staging area, go ahead and click Start Recording. Welcome to the Icebreaker discussion. I look forward to getting to know all of you and reading your feedback. And then we'll go ahead and click Stop when that is ready. We'll get a preview window here that where we can play the recording. Again, in my case, it just recorded the shared browser screen since the webcam is currently being used by Teams. But in the case of both actually being recorded in there, what will happen is you'll likely see a split screen showing a video and the shared screen. Keep in mind that YuJa has a very flexible method of integrating the screen share and the video, the webcam video. We'll take a look at that in a minute when we play this through YuJa. As soon as I'm ready, I can go ahead and just click that upload. If you'd like to download a local version, you can do so right here by clicking download. Sometimes if the video is short enough and you want to make sure not to have to record it again, it might be a good idea to download it. So we'll go ahead and upload. Now, if we weren't happy with that and we wanted to re-record it, we'd go ahead and just click discard right there. But we're happy with this recording, so I'm going to go ahead and click upload. You'll see a progress indicator, and then as soon as it's finished and you get 100%, what you can do is you can just switch back to the original tab. It should be to the left of the YuJa browser capture. You can go ahead and close that browser capture tab as well. And what we'll see in YuJa is you'll see your icebreaker discussion instructions recording, and then it should progress to processing, And then once it's done processing, you should see a play button appear on that video. Now, technically, we could go ahead and even if that's not done processing yet, we could go ahead and select that media and we could share it into our course. That said, the media itself won't be available for play to anyone in the Blackboard course until it's done processing. So just keep that in mind. But we could go ahead and if we want to just get the inserting done, we can go ahead and insert it before it's done processing. Like I said, just keep in mind that that won't play for anyone until it's done processing. So what we're going to do is select that media. Keep in mind also, it can take some time for the processing to get done. That's one thing that we probably hear the most from people using YuJa is they record a, 30-minute, 45-minute, or 60-minute lecture or presentation. And, it's still, they'll often say like, well, it's still processing. I'm still getting the processing message. Well, if it's a short video like this one was here, where I just gave a little welcome instructions message for a few moments, it shouldn't take that long to render. As you saw here, it um, took maybe about 20 seconds or less, I would say. But if it is a longer recording, if it's a 30-minute, 60-minute, longer, etc., it's going to take quite a while. It's probably in that case, it's probably going to take maybe an hour, maybe two, maybe even longer. So just keep that in mind when you're recording your videos. If you have hour-long videos that you're recording, you're really going to need to work in that time for the rendering and the processing of that video on YuJa's end of things. Now, once that's done, like I said, we'll go ahead and select it. We'll make sure that that blue outline is around the media, icebreaker discussion instructions, and then we'll go down here to the bottom right corner and click Insert Content. And when we click that, it'll process that content. We'll return back over to the Blackboard content item. It'll ask us what we want to name that content market item. Icebreaker discussion instructions sounds fine to me. It's just going to use whatever you used in YuJa, and then we'll click insert. And there we go. It'll go ahead and insert that video directly into the content there in the icebreaker discussion. We can um, we can go ahead and save. And then as soon as that comes up, we'll go ahead and preview it. Very good. And you might not be able to hear the, yeah, there we go. You might not be able to hear the audio, but it's just, me giving that short welcome message again there in the icebreaker discussion item. So that's how we add content, record content. To be honest, it might seem like a lot of steps initially if you're new to YuJa, but once you go through this once, twice, three times, it's really it becomes second nature. It's really not it's not a whole lot. It feels like a couple steps every time I do this again. And it doesn't feel very lengthy. But yeah, like I said, the first time that if you're new to YuJa and your first time using it, it can seem a little cumbersome. So feel free to reference back to this video and back to these steps and also to the other videos that we've posted on YouTube for YuJa to get a feel for those steps. The steps are basically the same whether you're in Ultra or Original, just coincidentally, but they just look a little bit different since the original interface is different. So as a side note also, these if you still are using an original course and you're working in an original course for a little bit longer, or you're working in, bringing videos from, original to ultra, just bear that in mind. It's basically the same process. Now, something that is different and is worthy to point out at this time is that in this discussion item, and remember, we would add this video the same way in a quiz or an ultra document or any other content. If we click this X with the blue box behind it, and we go back to our content area, you'll notice in the icebreaker discussion area something that probably looks a little bit different from what you may have been used to in original, which is we don't see the video here. Something that's definitely worth pointing out at this time is that Blackboard Ultra doesn't permit video and images and animations and things like that in their content descriptions. So basically in Ultra, you're going to see a lot of items just like this with text-based in descriptions or instructions that are appearing in your content area, even if you add a video to that content item. Now, the same thing applies if we just want to add a video directly to our course content. So just as a very quick repeat of those steps that we just did, I'm going to go right up above here in the how this course works. I'm going to go right in between getting started and how this course works. And I'm just going to click this purple insert content button. And you'll notice again, we can scroll down to content market. I can scroll down to YuJa Media Chooser. Now, it's important also to point out at this time, if you're adding video to content here, you don't want to click on the YuJa link. You want to click on the YuJa Media Chooser link. The YuJa link that you might see in there is the same one that we looked at the beginning of this webinar, only for adding a link to access your media manager in YuJa. So you can see the video that I just recorded there. I'm just going to select that. Instead of recording a new video, we'll just select that video. We'll click Insert Content, and we'll get taken back to, there we go. We'll get taken back to our Blackboard course. And again, you see that that icebreaker discussion instructions has been inserted right there. Again, no video thumbnail, no playing the video right through the main content area there, like you might be used to with original. Students can just click on that link and it opens up that video. And again, we didn't record a new video. I just reused the icebreaker discussion instructions, but this would, theoretically be used for something like maybe maybe like a course welcome message from the professor. And of course, we would need to record a new different video for that, right? But that would be kind of the purpose of inserting a YuJa video right there in the course content. You just go to the place that you want that video to be inserted. You click on the Insert Content button, that purple plus, and just scroll to Content Market, and then click on YuJa Media Chooser. Again, at that point, don't click YuJa, click YuJa Media Chooser. Okay, so we've covered quite a bit there. Those are the two main methods. We can access and add links to be able to manage media in YuJa, or we can use the YuJa Media Chooser to create and insert content or media, video media from our YuJa account. This is typically a really good place to go ahead and pause to see if there are any relevant questions, any quick questions we can sort of handle before the Q&A. Any questions, anything anybody would like to comment on what we've covered so far? Yeah, it looks like everybody's good.
Again,
If so, like I said, go ahead and just feel free to add it into the chat. Did I hear somebody there?
oh, I was going to ask if you want to shorten or expand, that is, crop the videos or manage the videos. That tool already also has all those tools are available, huh?
Yes, yeah. So the YuJa does have a video editor and then also an advanced video editor. Like I said earlier, we're going to cover that in our advanced YuJa webinar. It's pretty straightforward. If you've used video editors before, like if you've used Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve or anything like that, Final Cut Pro, the YuJa video editor is relatively straightforward. Even the advanced video editor is fairly straightforward, but it does help to have some experience, sort of, trimming and cutting and editing videos to sort of move around in that video editor a little bit. And we're gonna, in the next part of this, in the next half hour, we're gonna take a look at how you can, some simple methods of managing and adjusting some of the videos that you record. But yeah, that kind of shortening and trimming and all that, that would typically be done in the video editor. Yeah, we're seeing some comments come in. The interface seems fairly similar to VidGrid. Yep. Yeah, VidGrid and just by the way, that does remind me too. I saw a question in the polls about it looked like someone was interested in seeing how to use YuJa maybe in a similar way to how they did in Flipgrid. So we'll take a very brief look at that too. That's going to come down to really just organizing your media in the media manager and just having a folder for, like in Flipgrid, you would have your different grids. In YuJa, you're just going to have different folders for, basically being the equivalent of grids, just different containers for different videos that you insert into your YuJa content. And then what will happen is students can respond or post in their discussion board items with you, using basically the same set of steps that we just covered for you to insert a video into a text box. Students are going to do the same exact thing. So the instructions are almost identical. They are just going to go to the discussion board, go to where they would post in that discussion board. I'll just open that up right now so you can see it in the video. I need to go to student view, visible to students, student preview. They're just going to go to that icebreaker discussion or any other discussion or quiz or assignment, any item where they need to post a video to. They're going to go to the area where they would post. Of course, after viewing and listening to the instructions, they're going to go down here to type a response, and then they're just going to go to that same insert content button, and then content market, and then YuJa Media Chooser. And then from there, they just follow the same steps that we covered earlier. Like I said earlier, there's going to be some hyperlink resources at the end of this that'll point to instructions that you can share with students for doing that. They can also just look at this video when we post that as well, with the ultra instructions for going through that recording. So just stay tuned to that. Make sure to check those resources out. Let me go ahead and exit out of student preview mode. And let's go ahead and now let's take a look at adding other YuJa content. So we're gonna take a look at the media manager to see to see how that layout works and to see what we can do with that. Let's go ahead and switch back over to the course. And again, the way that we access this is by just going to Books and Tools and then View Course and Institution Tools. Now, you might have seen just a few minutes ago when I was saying use the YuJa Media Chooser to create and upload video media, not the YuJa link. Well, that YuJa link is still, it's still available in the content market. You can add a link using that to your course content if you believe that it would be better to have a link into the core in a specific area in your course for you to access your YuJa Media Platform account and for your students to access that as well, you can just go to that, again, that purple insert content button and then go to Content Market and then scroll down to the YuJa link, and we'll go ahead and click add, or we can just click on YuJa right there. And we can access it by clicking on YuJa. And then, of course, I'm just going to X out of that. And then, of course, we can just click the uh, plus button right there. And we get a link added at the very top of the course for accessing that YuJa platform. And you can rename this. By default, it comes hidden to students, but gets set up hidden from students. But we can click on the three dots, click on edit, and then we can just rename this. So we could maybe name it YuJa platform. A lot of folks seem to just leave it as YuJa, but if you want to customize that for students differently, that's fine. YuJa platform, or perhaps even YuJa Media Manager, like that, just to differentiate it from the Media Chooser. Um, then we'll switch that to visible. We'll click, and you could put some instructions in there as well for students. Click on this link to access and manage all of your YuJa video media. So then when you or any students click on that, it's going to navigate to the media manager. Now, keep in mind, we just recorded that like I think it was like 5-second video for for the icebreaker discussion instructions. That's going to be right there. There's that video that we just recorded. You can see that they are in right now. They're in alphabetical order. Um, and one thing I really like to point out at this point is the folders that you see up above here. We can add new folders just by going to the top of the screen, creating a new folder, and let's say that let's say that you have different types of videos. You have your course video presentations, but then you have like maybe department meeting videos with your faculty departments. You can just create a new folder here for course video presentations, click save, and then we have that new folder right there. You can also click a new folder and add a department meeting recordings. There we go. Click save. And then you can access those folders and just double click on the folder, and then you can either drag and drop content to upload videos to that location, or you can create a recording and store it inside that folder. So up here at the top of the screen, you'll see manage media and create recording. Now remember what I said initially. You want to view that YuJa link in the content market as what you need to access the media manager, and then use the YuJa Media Chooser to create and upload videos. But ultimately, when you get used to using the platform, you can just click on Create Recording from within the manager and access the same steps. Choose Browser Capture Studio, give it a title, click Start. At that point, your Browser Capture Studio will come up, and you can create a recording to be stored in this folder. Let's go ahead and go back to Manage Media. I'm just going to click the Manage Media button there to go back to the main or the root file folder location. And let's go ahead and go back to our slides and take a look at what's next. Okay, so relinking and importing videos like your previous videos that might have been in VidGrid, or other sources of videos like uploads like we looked at a moment ago, or even YouTube videos. You can link YouTube videos or Vimeo videos and play those through the YuJa platform for your courses. So this is helpful if you already use YouTube videos or Vimeo videos in your courses. You can simply just put those in there to store them as linked media items within your YuJa account. I would recommend doing this too, because this will help to house all of the videos for all of your courses under one platform. So it's a little bit more manageable course-wise and department-wise. So let's go ahead and go back to that course. And for previously used VidGrid videos, those are typically going to be shared through a specialized folder here over at the left. So you see I have a lot of subfolders there within the My Media location. I'm just going to click on My Media to collapse that. And then I'm going to click on the Shared with Me folder. Now you can see in my shared folder, I don't have a lot shared. I have this one folder shared, and then this H5P instructional video. It looks like that's in there too. But when if you had videos that were in VidGrid that were imported over by ITS back at the start of the year, you should see a folder in there that says something along the lines of faculty video, or faculty support, something along those lines. And if you have any problems finding those videos under the shared with me area, just reach out to us and we can help you locate that and find that. What you would do at that point is you could leave those videos in there. You could create new folders and move those videos within, and then ultimately you'd want to go ahead and insert those into your Blackboard Ultra course, just the same way that we did earlier, by going to the course content, going to insert content, and then choosing YuJa Media Chooser from the content market. Let's go ahead and go through the steps for doing that. So let's say that this is one of the videos that I need to put into a new location, and I need to share or insert into a new Blackboard Ultra course. Let me just close that down. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over this video, not click on it, but I'm going to hover on it. And you see that a menu appears when we hover on it. I'm going to go ahead and go to More. And when I do that, what I do is I get the media details panel. This is something, like I said, that we're going to dive deeper in with the Advanced YuJa webinar. But something that you can do here that is very useful is you can go to Actions, and then you can publish the media, you can share it, you can delete it, you can add it to a playlist. Um, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to scroll down to the bottom here on the General tab, and I'm just going to take note of where this specific media is published to. You can see here that it's published to user collections, various LCID users, and then in the shared with me folder, right? So you get a sense of who that's shared to and who's using that video. That users collections folder, that's really important because that's the way that YuJa publishes these videos and plays these videos is through user collections that are in YuJa called media channels. So if you scroll all the way down here to the bottom on the left, you'll see right here user collections. And and you can find various Wake Tech users, find various videos that you need, and and then you can access those videos and potentially, add those to courses that you might need to add those to. You can also check out some of these other shared channels like all channels. You can see all the courses in there that videos might be shared to. The key for adding any video to a Blackboard Ultra course is to share it or publish it, I should say, to the right channel. So if we go back to the video that I had there in the shared folder, and I go again to More, bringing up the media details. If I go to Actions and then Publish Media, you'll see that it's already published to a variety, or could be published to a variety of courses. Um, I need to be, I need to have access to these courses to be able to publish this video to any particular course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search and choose my Ultra Dev Shell that we were just looking at a moment ago. And I'm just going to try to find the name of it from there. I think it was Ultra Dev, and then I could just go back to Blackboard and look at this as well. There it is, ultradev.mtkelly4. So knowing that course ID, as always, as it's always been, is really important for being able to publish that video to the right channel. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to make sure that it's a selected channel. Click Select. And now this video is playable through that course. What that does is it makes sure that your students can access, anybody who's properly enrolled in that course shell can access that video if it's being played. The reason that that's important here is because I'm potentially adding courses that may not be inserted yet into a course, right? When we kind of go into the realm of like faculty working on videos and on videos for courses, we run into that issue. If you have access to a video or you create a video in your YuJa media and then you insert it into the course, it's placing that video into the course in the course content area where you've told it to, but it's also publishing that video to that course channel or that media channel. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're publishing these videos. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to click on the three dots for the folder there, the We Speak, and we're going to go to More. And I'm also going to go to Actions there. You see that with that folder, with that shared folder, the options are far less than they were previously with my other media because that is shared. And you can see here that I don't really have too many options in terms of what I can do there, but I can direct link or I can use the embed code for that video. And I can add that video or that folder that way to access that media. But then, of course, if whoever is trying to access that folder doesn't have access to it, they are going to run into some issues. Okay, I'm going to navigate back to the My Media here, and let's go ahead and switch back to the slides and take a look at, oh, of course. Okay, so YouTube videos. If you'd like to add YouTube videos to your course, YouTube or Vimeo videos, what we're going to do is we're going to insert this the same way that we would any other video. We're just not going to have to create it. We will need the YouTube link for the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over to this next browser tab. This is the LCID link tree. The link for this is in the resources at the end of this webinar. So I'm going to share the webinar slides in the Microsoft Teams chat. You'll be able to access all of those links from that resource page, including the link tree right here. And I just want to get a YouTube video link. So let's go to maybe faculty crosswalk videos. Let's go there. Okay, and I'm just going to go to the introduction. I'm going to go ahead and pause that. And then you can do one of two things. You can either just copy the link from up above in the URL field, or you can go here to share and click share and then just copy that link. And then what I'm going to do is, and just as a reminder, this is the Faculty Blackboard Crosswalk Introduction to Ultra video on our YouTube channel. I'm going to go back to the YuJa tab, and then we'll go ahead and close this down and then go to wherever we want to insert that YouTube video. So let's say that maybe in module 1, we might want to add that. So I'm going to click on module 1 to expand it, and then scroll down to wherever we want to add this YouTube video. Let's say that I want to add it right there in between these two course content items. We'll just click that purple insert content item. We'll again go to content market, and then I'm going to scroll down to YuJa Media Chooser. And then wait for the YuJa LTI to load. What we're going to do is, instead of choosing from our media, we're going to go to Upload Media up here at the top in the middle. And then I can choose from a variety of options. I can upload audio, upload a few different types of common documents, upload a link, or upload VR. Now, not all of these options are fully enabled yet. You'll notice that when we go to link and we go to YouTube, I'll have an option there to either embed a YouTube link or import the video from YouTube. Notice that import is not accessible. So we can't actually download and ingest the video from YouTube and put it onto our YouTube platform, but we can embed the YouTube link so that we can insert it into our Blackboard Ultra course. I'm going to go to the YouTube link and then just right click and paste. And it might take a moment. I've noticed when I've done this in the past, it sometimes, yeah, takes a second or two. And then when we have that link in there, we can go ahead and give it a title. I'm just going to quickly just write crosswalk, faculty YouTube video. And I'm just going to copy and paste that into the description. And then we can add tags too if that's important. Crosswalk, and then we need to just confirm this message at the end. You're about to embed the direct link to a YouTube video. Do you wish to continue? Yes. And then we can start the upload. Okay, so we should get some confirmation messages confirming that we've uploaded that. You now see in your media, you see a media item for that YouTube video that we played over on the LCID YouTube playlist. So we can go ahead and now select that media. We can go down here to the bottom right, insert content again. basically the same steps as earlier, and give that a second to refresh. And you can see here that now down in module 1, in between this assignment item and this assignment item, we now have the crosswalk faculty YouTube video. We can click on that link. It opens up the LTI and then begins playing that crosswalk video through YuJa. I'll go ahead and close that down by clicking the X with the blue box behind it. And let's go ahead and switch back over to the slides. Okay. So that's really that's really the basics of getting in there, getting started with YuJa. The two main methods that we can access and use YuJa, which is the tool link that allows us to manage our media on YuJa, and then also the YuJa Media Chooser, which allows us to get in there and start creating and then inserting that video that we recorded, or any other media that we happen to have in our media on our YuJa account. We looked at some other ways of adding YuJa content, and then also relinking previous videos that we have in there. By the way, something that I didn't go over is that you can simply just, if you have your videos downloaded, if you have your downloaded video files from another source, you can simply just upload those into your YuJa account, which I would highly recommend doing if that's, if that's what you have from your previous courses. That's a really good way to get those videos hosted, stored, so that you have ongoing access to those, and so that they play smoothly. You don't want to upload those videos directly to your Blackboard Ultra course without using YuJa. They should be hosted somewhere, and they're gonna be. I mean, typically video files are pretty, pretty sizable. They typically, run several hundred megabytes, if not several gigabytes, and you're going to need to have those hosted on a good, strong host for that. YuJa is the one that we recommend for now, just because hopefully, as you can see from this video, the flexibility and the ease with which you can use YuJa in your Blackboard Ultra course is really really straightforward, and and it's really helpful and convenient. So I would highly recommend, if you do have videos from a previous course that you have downloaded, go ahead and upload those into your YuJa account. Upload those into a specific folder, like we went over, create a specific folder or subfolder for that specific course, and then upload those videos there, and then you can insert those into your Blackboard Ultra course. Okay, good time for any questions. And of course, thanks for attending today's webinar. In the Meet chat, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and drop those into the chat, or click the raise hand button, and we'll address those first come, first serve. Okay, is YuJa free? Yeah, it's completely, the YuJa platform has been licensed by Wake Tech for use by all the instructors and all the students, so it's completely free. And like I said, the file size limitations are relatively elastic, so um, like don't go uploading gigabytes and gigabytes of personal videos to it, but by all means get all of your course videos uploaded and accessible through YuJa, because it's a much better specialized host for those than like your OneDrive or your SharePoint, or even like a personal drive, personal cloud drive. So yeah, go ahead and get your course videos and all of your course video media uploaded into your YuJa account. Okay, looks like we got a couple other questions coming through. And like I said, feel free to drop those into the chat or raise your hand. If this answer is quick, feel free to provide answer, or I can stay after the meeting. Banging this an advanced question. My upload speed was abysmal after creating a screen capture video. Now I have deaggregated videos, my face versus screen. I haven't researched how to integrate these back together. Do you have a quick fix for this? Interesting. Yeah, that sound probably the best and the quickest answer for the quick fix for that would be to probably use the video editor in YuJa. And you do have those downloaded, right? You have like all the downloaded, sort of separated or deaggregated videos, the face and the screen. Okay. So are the record times or the run times exactly the same, or is there any difference there?
I haven't researched at all.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, the best way to probably do that is going to be to, and if you want, I can add you to the advanced YuJa webinar for Thursday. We're going to get into the editor so you can get started with that and kind of see how to do that. I'll make a note here to kind of cover that as well if you want to see that. How many videos do you have like this?
Only one.
Only one. Okay, perfect. Yeah, then yeah, absolutely I would use the video editor in YuJa because you could do that probably in a matter of minutes just by bringing adding that video to it. Um, by the way, that's a good I'm glad you asked that too. Let me just show y'all one more thing very quickly here in YuJa. I'm gonna jump over to let's see here. Let's just go to the YuJa Media. When you do record both, since I wasn't able to record both earlier, the screen and the webcam because of the Teams camera, but let me bring up a video where that has been done so you can kind of see what's going on there. I think it's that one. Turn off the audio. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Perfect. Okay. So as you can see, I'm sharing, and this is an older or another. Yeah, this is the advanced webinar. So you can see my screen being shared, but you see the webcam that was recorded there in my office. So by default, when you do this and you do both on a recording, the webcam video is movable, right? So students can do this too. They can. There isn't like a fixed one question I often get with first-time users of YuJa is, can I move that video? Why is it being recorded right there in that place? Or why is it being recorded as a split screen? Because that's the way that the preview will show in YuJa when you first look at the video. It's not being stored as a split screen. It's not even being like baked in any position. It's actually baked in as two separate streams that you can reposition and you can change that, or students can change that by switching the streams or by repositioning there with different layouts, right? So you can do that layout. You can do the split screen if you want that gallery view, and then you can go back to that original view. So that's by default in the YuJa video when you record both. That's good to know up front when if you're going to be doing a lot of recording with both the screen and the camera, just to know to expect that, and that's what students will see as well when you record that video. Okay, let's go back to the slides, back to the questions. Any other? Oh, and Candace, did you want me to add you to that advanced webinar?
I'm already added.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Very good. Okay, well, I'll see you then. Um, okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Feel free to, by the way, if you do have any other questions, just go ahead and send those to me. Here in the Teams chat, you're going to see the slides for this in there. These are all the links for the resources in there, so you'll have access to those. The the LSID, Wake Tech LSID link tree, the design labs that you can sign up for on Go Sign Me Up, and also the LSID faculty support team, and then also some of the playlists that we have in YouTube already for YuJa training. And then, like I said, feel free to also just to reach out to me if you have any questions about YuJa. Video quizzes we'll be covering the other. Yes, yeah, we'll cover video quizzes in the advanced webinar. Yeah, and like I said before, I'll reiterate if anybody needs to be added to that, just for not necessarily to watch it live, but if you just want access to the recording, just message me, just let me know. We'll go ahead and add you to that webinar just so you can get the information. Absolutely, absolutely. Good to see it. Okay, Donna will do. Both Donnas. Very good. Thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see some of you soon. We'll see you on Thursday for the advanced webinar. Have a great day.